Is anything going on in the world? I'm here with Jim McCormick and celebrity producer David Piper as well, and we are going to do a show. And that show is going to be the usual show that we do, and we're not going to do too much else. But I want to acknowledge that it is a little weird, and we hope you're going to have fun watching us because we're recording on Wednesday, and things are a little weird, no matter where you fall on the spectrum. A little weird, wouldn't you agree, Jim?
I would, because the Bengals and the Ravens play every week, and they play again this week, so I know that's confusing people.
That is confusing. That's what's got me tilted, yeah.
I hate to say it, there's no lesson in it, but maybe there is a distractive property to this where we can at least,
I agree.
At least, take this and focus, particularly because Bengals and Ravens is such a fascinating matchup that not to be such a good segue artist, but pretty good.
Pretty good. And yeah, we're here to have fun with you and forget for a little bit. I want to say hi to Caleb, who's here. I want to say hi to Viola, who's here. I want to say hi to Tom and Luis, and thanks everybody for being here. We're sponsored by DraftKings, and we're very thankful that DraftKings is continuing to sponsor this show, and that lets us come and talk to you every week. And if you've never downloaded the DraftKings app before, a great way to say, hey, DraftKings, keep sponsoring these guys, is to download that app. I'll talk about them in a little bit. We're here to preview Week 10, and we like to talk about these games kind of just how we think they're going to go football-wise, and then we'll also make some picks against the spread. And Jim has been begging me now for 3 minutes to talk about Bengals Ravens, and so here we are. I think the Ravens did, certainly what I was saying last week. I liked Baltimore a lot over Denver in that game, and it was kind of like a reassertion of their will. And I'm thinking back to the first Bengal game. You're right. They have that played already once this year. Right. It was a shootout. It was close. It was a 3-point game. I think it was maybe right on the number, but what lessons do you take away from kind of the current state of these two teams?
The Ravens really know who they are, right? Meaning they feel very familiar, even though they've had this brain drain, which they did have defensively. It feels like they've gotten adjusted to that part because they're not getting gouged the way they were in the first, maybe 3 weeks. And now, yeah. Maybe the Derrick Henry thing works.
Yeah, really.
And I suppose more importantly, Lamar continues to get better, which is an actual thing, meaning things are changing. So I suppose that it's all about the greatness of your, we talk about this quarterback league, it's the greatness of their best player. He even in the rear view of a MVP year, it seems like there's a little bit more nuance to his game. I know they've tried to effort to get him more pieces, but they just seem like they're rolling, and it seems like the outlier is actually when they were bad, not when they were good.
Although they lost 2 weeks ago, right? That was
they did.
Stupid game, yeah. But Lamar still played well, and I'm with you. I actually think the sweep of the Ravens season is exactly as you describe it. I think you're right about that. The Bengals are just so. They're so weird. They're so frustrating. They
feel like no one told them when the play is. They're just like, wait, I'm Bob Cratchit. Terrible line, but you know what I mean? They have no idea. They have no clue.
Yeah. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. And they
do. They rock it. Yeah.
Right. They do rock it. And they were good last week, but I think we expected them to be good last week. And so, yeah. I don't have a great angle here other than to say, I like both of these two quarterbacks when they are underdogs.
Right.
They cover when they are underdogs. That is how I feel about both Lamar Jackson and Joe Burrow. And in this particular case, at least as of our recording this, this line is 6. The Ravens are favored by 6. I don't find that an outrageous line. No. I think it's absolutely fair. I think the Ravens are the second best team in the league. But I think I'm going to take Joe Burrow as an underdog. And I think if it were the other way around, I would take Lamar Jackson as an underdog.
Yes, I agree. I had an odd line, like a 5, and same premise, meaning they're too familiar. They know each other too well. The Bengals have really low lows and really high highs, and so that's baked into that number. So I just think I'd rather take the points than guess what the outcome is.
I think that's a good way to look at it. I don't want to spend very much time on the Germany game. Love, if we definitely certainly are going to have some people watch this video from Germany, and I don't want to take away your fun and your excitement that you're getting a game. I just wish it was better. And I can tell you right now, I'm in the Pacific time zone, Jim, and I ain't waking up for this game.
Well, I mean, all right. So a couple weeks ago, I found out that my truck was in trouble.
Okay.
It's an American truck. My point is I went German. So now I'm clouded because I have...
Now you might watch the game.
I have a Volkswagen Type R. Not Type R. I have an R, and it's really fast. And I think I'm down with Germany again. And I'm down with this game again. And I'm excited. Right. I don't really even have a take. I'm just like das Futen.
Farfignugan.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. There's random words like 9. That's from Die Hard. Yeah.
Can you tell the fact that you and I know what Farfignugan is? I'm going to ask celebrity producer Dave Piper. Do you have any idea? I mean, you work in the audio industry. Do you know if
he's so old?
He's so young. He's young. We're just old.
Farfignugan.
Farfignugan.
That was a really popular Volkswagen ad. Are we
yeah.
live?
Yeah, we are. But anyway, let's just make a pick. I don't care about this game. It is Giants -6.5. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm gonna take the points because there's just no. I mean, like, first of all, imagine all of the people from North Carolina traveling for this game to Europe. I
didn't get your pick.
Wait, what do you mean?
You said you're going to do something with the points, but you sort of glossed over.
Panthers,
I couldn't hear what you said.
Panthers.
So you're taking the points.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
Got it. Yeah, got it. Because there's going to be so many Carolina fans in Munich.
Well, I mean, that's actually like where it came from. It's called the Charlotte Panthers, like punk. It's like it's more of a it's a manual team.
I also am going to accept these points because I don't really think the Giants should be 6.5 point favorite over any
on Bryce Young. So.
Over anybody. All right. We'll get back to these games in just a moment. Let's formally thank DraftKings for being our sponsor. And if you would like to download that app and sign up using the code HarrisTube, they have a good promotion that we talk about every week, but it's pretty legit. We talk about all these games and we're giving picks against the spread. You can make one $5 pick of your own money and they will instantly put $200 in bonus bets into your account that you can spread out and bet on all the games and have some fun. And $5 or $10 is the most I ever play on these. Please don't bet a lot. But it's fun. And if you do use that code HarrisTube and you download the DraftKings app, you can get that deal. We do thank DraftKings so much for sponsoring us. Jim, let's get back into the games. Let's talk about the 49ers coming off a bye week. Before that, a fairly, they beat the Cowboys, but it wasn't all that impressive.
Right.
They've certainly been super banged up. They're going to Tampa, which is just, if there's a drama team this year, it certainly is the Buccaneers, but they do hang in even without Evans and Godwin. And Evans might only be one more game away from coming back. How does Tampa hang in these games, do you think?
Like Baker's backwards behind the back. There's some sort of guile. I don't know what the word is, right? There's some sort of like gumption that they have. Mm-hmm. They hang in games, but they're still not good. They're still not like right. And I propose. I suppose for betting purposes, they've had these. They're just so volatile that without those known pieces, meaning like. It's hard for me to trust them. That's why this line is so strange. Not to go to the line. I mean, we're talking about the game, but the reason I think it's so strange is because this team is still adjusting to their new reality. Like this, and you said like they might be getting back Evans, right?
Yeah, but not this game. Yeah.
So what I'm trying to say is like it's this three-headed running game, but it still comes down to the volatility of Baker. So is what I'm trying to say. Like it's still
a game. I'm confused about what you're confused about with the line. Like the Niners are a pretty heavy favorite on the road.
I thought it'd be bigger.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I kind of did too, but I think there's a feeling. I mean, I guess you're right. There probably isn't a feeling that Tampa should be, a little closer line-wise if the line stays here. Like people are kind of there are a lot of small bets on Tampa in this game. There are probably more total money on San Francisco, but there's a lot of small bets on Tampa, and you can understand why. Because people just watch them take the Chiefs to overtime, and they see them, hang in as for a while against the Falcons, and like they just go, like you said, gritty. How they not staying in this game, and yet the line is still staying at. I think right now we're saying 5.5 as of our recording this.
Right.
And I'm actually with you. I would be on San Francisco here, honestly, more because I gotta believe, with the benefit of a week off, I gotta believe these 4-4 Niners can start getting their crap together a little bit, and maybe McCaffrey's back and helps, and like I don't know. The one thing I would be scared of for the Tampa offense is Cade Otton. And what's the one weapon I trust to be able to take away Cade Otton of any linebacker in the league? Yeah, it's probably Fred Warner.
Yeah.
So we're on the same side on this one. Yeah, I actually. Yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
No, again, it just speaks to like one team's volatile and one team's, like you said, it feels like they should get their stuff back, and this will be an interesting stage for that.
Yeah. I agree with that. I'm going to take a quick look in the chat and see what's going on. I see Max talking German, which is always appreciated.
Nice.
I've got Luis, also a little bit of German. Kevin says, didn't Volkswagen just make that up? You're darn right they did, Kevin. You know what? We just outed you as an old.
That was the point.
You, me, and Jim. You, me, and Jim. And Max also says, Danke.
You drive manual. Admit it.
Yeah. So I want to do. We've got some people in here right now. It's understandably a slightly sparser crowd than normal, and I hold no ill will. There's stuff going on in the world, but for the folks who are here, let's do a like spike. I'm going to count down. Find a little thumbs up button somewhere in your phone or your tablet or your wherever you're looking at us right now. And just hit the like button. Let's do a like spike. It helps us get findable. You ready? Let's do it in 3, 2, 1. A little bit of a like spike, shall we?
That's Walter the Farting Dog, by the way.
That's Walter the Farting Dog.
Yeah, it's a book. Look at him.
Here come the likes. I love it. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
We appreciate that very much. All right, let's keep going. We will do 5 minutes of fantasy a little later in the show. So definitely hang out. You can ask us fantasy questions in a little bit, but we're going to keep going. Let's talk about those aforementioned Chiefs. They are hosting the also aforementioned Broncos, who last week it felt like with the Broncos, maybe water found its level a little bit. I'll ask you a question about this game this way. I mean, the Chiefs win, but probably are in a game that's tighter than people think it should be. You and I were both on the right side of that point spread, and the Broncos really do not show up and do not play well. So those two teams, their week 9 result, which do you learn more from yourself? The Chiefs doing what they did or the Broncos doing what they did?
I would assume that the Chiefs being able to hold court against a team that kept fighting them. You know what I mean? Like I suppose
that was more of a lesson than like the Broncos running into a real team and suddenly looking bad.
Right. Meaning I'm waiting for the time the Chiefs really fail. And I know they didn't cover, but they still actually controlled that game. So they continue to have this lean on you thing. That's what I was looking for. The sustainability of their ability to I don't know. They're the boring, they're like the Brazilian jiu-jitsu guy who just all right, just tap out, as opposed to some exciting knockout. That's who they've become. Like you said, they're the wait for you to fail team. They look for the opening. And I guess it continues to confirm that versus what we saw on the other side. So.
Okay, except for, I think we could say basically we learned something from both teams, because I really do think maybe we learned more about the Broncos, which is to say, when they're playing the Jags or the Panthers. They're
good, yeah.
Okay. Wow, Bo Nix is really good. Are you kidding me? You guys are complaining about this Bronco team? That's great. And then they go to Baltimore, and it's like they were not in the same class.
I suppose we expected it from the Chiefs, so yeah.
They were not in the same class.
Right.
So anyway, all that is to say, the line here is Chiefs -8, and I'm going to be on Denver because once again, a big.
It's just too many. It's weird. It's weird. It's too many.
It's just a big spread, and I think Mahomes wins these games and doesn't particularly need to.
6.5. Tease it, kids. I don't even know. It sounds good.
6.5. Let's just go fast through Patriots Bears because
the kid sounds creepy. I'm sorry to interrupt.
It is a rematch of the 1985 season Super Bowl.
It is. Well, my favorite Super Bowl, by the way. Also inspired Matt Eberflus, by the way. That Super Bowl.
It did.
Well, isn't that the Bears Super Bowl? That's 86. Am I wrong?
No, it is. It's a rematch of my favorite Super Bowl. Why did it inspire Matt Eberflus?
Because then they ran a guard into a.
So right. It's a refrigerator Perry. It's a refrigerator Perry that you're referring to.
Yeah.
Got it. All right. Well, the line is Bears -6. Who are you picking?
All right. So the Bears, because last week was just so bad, and they're better. They're better than that.
Okay. I nailed this line, so this is one of my pushes for the week. I don't want to touch this game at all. We've got the Bills are traveling to Indianapolis, and this line, not even a day ago, was Bills -4.5, and now it has moved to Bills -3.5. Which, what does that tell you, Jim?
Tells me that I don't know what I'm doing because I want it to be the other way. Stop doing that. I mean, I think the Bills are way, way better, and I'm kind of confused by it. So it's one of those funky lines where I'm not sure why it's not.
Why is it moving? Right. Yeah. Well, the point being, it tells you that the people are starting to bet on the Colts.
I suppose that's what I mean. Like the momentum, the momentum feels strange to me, especially it's a Wednesday, so it's like what? Like what's happening with this line?
Yeah. I mean, it moved pretty much over the course of just today, Wednesday. It moved from 4.5 to 3.5. I think there's a feeling that, the Bills are near the top of their market after.
Okay.
I mean, it wasn't a super impressive performance, but they outlasted Miami, and then there's probably a feeling that the Colts are very much at the bottom of their market, and if this was Flacco's first game instead of last week, maybe the logic goes, spoiler, I'm on the same side of this as you are. Right. Like, it would be a little more like, ooh, I'm excited by this, and there's a chance keep this to a field goal game. And but the fact is, it isn't Flacco's first game back, and he did look like dog crap. I guess, I'm trying to make arguments for the other side. Buffalo, still pretty banged up on defense. I don't think they're that hard to run against, and Jonathan Taylor's a really good running back. And I'm having a hard time making the case, man. I'm going to be on Buffalo -3.5. I'm frankly happy that it's not 4.5.
Yeah, exactly. I suppose it felt strange because it felt like there was some mystery behind what the Colts were going to do when we know no matter who's starting, it's going to be a problem. I just suppose it speaks to kind of some respect for the Colts roster that maybe is misplaced because it's hard to win with my dad at quarterback.
Is the roster good?
No, but I'm saying I think that's what inspires the
Right. Well, okay, but I'm saying that might be what inspires. Okay, but that might be what inspires it. But I'm asking you now: is it a good roster? I don't know that I think it is.
They're undersized and they're fast, and that's not great in a league of big, fast people. So.
Yeah, I mean,
they have a thing. It's not working. How long has Chris Ballard been in charge? What is going on?
Yeah, well, that feels like that's coming to an end. I think that's pretty clear. All right, the Steelers, coming off a bye week, are going to go and visit the Commanders, and the Commanders traded for Marshawn Lattimore, which is awesome. They drafted Jaden Daniels, which is awesome. Those two factors combined are awesome. And I'll tell you why. Because when you draft Jaden Daniels and you invest in young corners and you invest in young receivers and you're clearly trying to build a future of players that are kind of all on Jaden Daniels' timeline.
A core, yeah.
And then you see, oh my God, this guy's really good. And he wins games and he comes through and we have a chance to win this division now. You then go and they're the only team, I think, of any deal this entire cycle, not just on the trade deadline, but like in the month before, that actually spent real capital to get a player. They spent a third, a fourth, and a sixth, I think, for Lattimore, who's 28 and not on Jaden Daniels' timeline. And it would have been really easy for them not to spend the money, to not worry about a new contract, which he's going to need at the end of this. You know, he's going to make a lot of money next year, and he's no guaranteed money left. They can't do this trade without a new contract for multiple years. Like, I think that's awesome. I just think that's like, we have this one plan, and now something good has happened, and we're not just going to be like, too bad, we're all going to be good in 2027. They're like, no, let's give it a shot right now. I think that's great.
I do too. I mean, not to always correlate everything to fantasy, but it's one of those moments where, like, when you have it, like the 1 year in large, like, I was like, go for it. And I traded everything, and it missed, but it felt good to go for it. Meaning, no, seriously, like, there's something about the incentive of momentum, and it's real there. We've talked about it for a couple months now with Washington, but I think the first thing was the thought. It feels a lot like last year's Houston team, meaning, like, you know, they had to overcome a couple early. You know, you kept doubting them, and then, you know, you wake up and it's November, and they're still doing what we thought was unsustainable. And again, coaching change, defensive coach with a weird, crazy, good offense, and like, all the fire pit jokes about Cliff are applicable. But this guy's special, the quarterback's special, and maybe fantasy-wise, it's not as fun as we would like it to be, because it's not. There's not a concentration we want, but this dude's fun. And it seems real, and more importantly, there's something about the fact that we keep underrating them that I think creates value in the lines. And I'm not talking about this game in general. I'm talking about, it's hard to keep up with an ascendant talent in terms of betting, I think.
Yeah, well, I remember around this time last year is when I just started betting on the Texans every week.
That's what I mean. It's a great parallel. You're always going to ask for the endpoint, and not that there is, of course, an endpoint for them, but it just doesn't seem like it's 2.5 points against this team.
And yet, you know, I love what the Commanders are doing. This line was 3 as of a little while ago. I'm pulling the Jim McCormick switcheroo here.
Yes.
So I love what they're doing, and it's just, I'll explain why I like the Steelers here getting 2.5. It was 3, would have been happier had it been 3 when we recorded the show, but I'll take the 2.5. The one hesitation I have is, have they seen a pass rush anything like this? Has Jaden Daniels seen a pass rush anything like this? Right. My answer is absolutely not.
No.
And so this maybe is the last test that I need him to pass. So I'm going to be on the Steelers. I don't think it's outrageous. I said it at Commanders -2. And so I don't think it's crazy that it's 2.5. Obviously, if it had been 3, I'd been happier, but we're going to be, yay, we found a game that we're on opposite sides here.
I just appreciate that my breaking point is like week 6 on thinking TJ Watt's a Marvel character. And I'm just like, no, not this week. So,
but let's face it. The fact is, Jaden Daniels is good enough that
TJ Watt character. So yeah,
right. TJ Watt can get his, and Jaden Daniels can still win this game by a field goal.
So that's sort of what I feel like is going to happen. So
100%. You're absolutely right about that. Let's do Vikings. They're going down to Jacksonville. I set this line myself at Vikings -4. Yeah. And when I did it, I thought, I'm going to be on Jacksonville here. This is going to be the second straight week. I'm going to be correct being on Jacksonville as like a touchdown favorite, as a touchdown underdog, rather.
Oh, yeah.
And instead, I nailed the line. So I have to say, I'm not playing this game, but I'm surprised this is not a touchdown.
I am too. I had it at 5.5, like that weird Vegas-y zone. What I mean by Vegas zone is like they don't really know what to do with it, so they just they don't give it a whole number, like a 6 or a 3. They go, here, figure it out, and tease it is what they're asking you to do.
Right.
But with this situation, it just feels like, I think it's the natural volatility of like this Darnold team and all those things. But this feels good to me in the sense that, not about the bet, but like Jacksonville feels like last week I watched them was their last punch. Like, that's a terrible thing to say because how could I tell what they're doing next? But it just felt like they were down 22-0, and they came back on a not looking at the clock kind of Eagles team. So it got weird. But I just really feel like they are in a place where you don't want to be. Like, they're 32nd in the league in EPA per drive on defense. Probably not good.
That is not good. I mean, you're right about that. Like, Philly legitimately tried a 57-yard field goal to allow Jacksonville to have a possession to go win the game. That is. Yeah.
Nick Sirianni has an open mic on Thursdays somewhere in Philadelphia, and I hope nobody's laughing. Like,
that is wild. So I'm a no play on this one, and I think you're on the Vikings. Is that what I'm hearing?
I am. Yeah. I mean, not super confidently, but yes.
All right. Let me do 5 minutes of fantasy with the good folks who are in the chat, and for those of you who are watching us after the fact, which is most of the people who watch this video watch it after the fact. Hopefully, we'll hit on some topics from the chat that you're interested in as well. So we are here. I've got Landship Galactica telling us, thanks for being a bright spot in a dark week. We're happy to serve that purpose. Caleb says Washington is playing Harris Brand Dynasty Ball. That's fair. That's a fair point right there.
I get that.
Go for it, baby. Go for it. So hit us with your fantasy questions. We got some folks in here now. Some late arrivers. Tell us in the chat. Charles asks this question, Jim, for fantasy purposes. Are we done with Chuba? Are we done with Chuba Hubbard at this point?
Not until I see proof of it. No, because this whole other thing is just a thing. It's just, let me see it.
I'm right there with you. Chuba Hubbard's played extraordinarily well in pretty terrible circumstances. And I've said it a few times. He's a free agent at the end of this year. He's in his walk year. Yeah. I think someone's going to pay him a lot of money. I think he's pretty good. I would be rolling with him until Jonathan Brooks steals workload, and I'll feel bad that week, and then I'll deal with it. But
there's nothing impending to suggest that anyway, right? So, yeah.
Right. Caleb says, I got offered Josh Allen for Lamar Jackson straight up in a Dynasty Superflex today. Do you have a strong lean in Dynasty between Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson?
I'll just say Josh Allen because I just think there's more passing touchdown upside, but that seems ridiculous. But sure.
It would be tough for me to trade Lamar this year, though.
Close. Yeah.
I think I probably agree with you. I think if I'm doing my Dynasty rank of quarterbacks right now, Allen is one probably.
Yes.
Because there's some distant future where maybe Lamar can't run like he runs now. But I want to win this year. And for this year, for this year, I'd rather have Lamar. So I want to win this year. I'm probably not doing it.
Yeah, I hear it all. I hear both sides.
Jonathan, we're going to talk about the Cardinal line here in a little bit, so stick around with that one. I like that Max, when we talked about the Jacksonville, Minnesota line being a little smaller than we thought it was going to be, only being Vikings -4, Max said it's a Cartavius line.
I mean,
Tank Bigsby, obviously.
You never want to tank too much. Like, as a Sixers fan, I know all about tanking, so I get it.
Oh, baby. Is there a way that maybe somehow the Sixers could figure out a way to get Tank Bigsby? That would be...
If they could just figure out not to be the most dramatic, like, HBO Max team ever, where they're just like, this week on the Sixers, that'd be great.
Caleb asks, this is probably a question for me. Is there a world where Cartavius earns the Tank nickname at some point? Oh, I think he has.
And I think the team almost out of like they recognize it, but Doug Peterson, as a Doug Peterson apologist, he can't help himself with not recognizing the better back. So,
I think in some ways I consider the fact that I call him Cartavius was the motivating factor for him to be great. So I don't want to take that away.
I mean,
don't want to take that away.
Yeah.
Charles says, what are your thoughts on Amari Cooper's dynasty value? I'm thinking about adding him for a run in a dynasty league where I'm competitive.
I think the idea of him like spending a few years with Josh Allen, which seems fairly potentially possible, some restructure, like he changes all the time. I I don't know. There's something there. I think there's some value there. If he's going to ride a couple of years out with Allen, it's worth the prospect of that he's there. There's an incumbency factor that gives me some hope.
The problem I have is that you're framing the question as though, not you, the questioner, Charles, is framing the question that they want to go for it this year. And I have to believe there are other receivers you can go for it with more effectively than Amari Cooper.
He's like that.
I agree with your point. Your point is that this isn't going to be, if you're trading for him, it's on a 1-year thing. There's a chance for this to last for a few years, and that could have some real value once he gets used to being with Josh Allen, whatever. But like for the rest of this year, how can I view Amari Cooper as like I got to get him, No, you're like ordering like a turkey sandwich on DoorDash at like midnight. Like, get over it. McDougie says, is Michael Pittman one more stinker away from being droppable, or is he droppable already?
With the idea that Flacco's there's a couple of plays, if you watch the game, there's a couple of plays that were like pretty close. They threw him deep. He was a pass interference. I hit the fart on the fart tap.
Okay.
But here's the thing. He is a talented downfield receiver. Yes, I would retain him. Don't do it.
I don't think I'm dropping him yet.
It's close.
One more stinker?
Well, honestly,
we might be. We can revisit that next week for sure. Janiel says, are we buying the Jackson Smith-Njigba breakout?
I guess in the sense that every third pass is 45 yards downfield.
Well, when DK Metcalf's not there, that's not the case.
Right. No. So I'm not buying it because it seems like an equal opportunity offense. And so it seems like so variant that I can't predict like their share. No.
Right. Nicholas says, speaking of droppable, can we dump Travis Etienne?
Yeah, but his brother's probably better. Like, where's he played?
Georgia. See, I think it's dangerous. I think people are being misled.
No, I think right. Hold on to him.
Travis Etienne was the starting running back in this last game against Philly. You saw it. Yeah. And like through the first half, Bigsby played 3 snaps in the first half. And then Etienne had the pass bounce off his shoulder pads for an interception, and he got punished in the second half. Do I know for sure that the punishment won't last forever? No, but if you tell me he's the starter again, I don't think I want to drop him. So I think my answer is no. All right, that's a good Fantasy 5. We appreciate your questions. Let's continue on with the rest of the games that we have here to talk about. A quick one. It's Tennessee. It's the Chargers. It's here in Los Angeles. There will be 5 people watching this game because nobody goes to Charger games, and there's not a lot of Titan fans here. The line is Chargers -7.5. What do you think? This is
the rare game where I haven't heard the pitch where it'll be infiltrated with some road.
Yeah, exactly.
This is going to be like Gary, here's an Astros jersey. It's going to be some like strange UN event in terms of sports. But the real thing is like it's just Tennessee. I continue to think they're better than they are, and they're just kind of not, like, meaning but I suppose it comes down to the fact that like their offense is just so dangerously inept, and so it's but like the Chargers at least know who they are. I don't know how good they are at being who they are. So
all right, Chargers 7.5.
Right.
What do you like?
Taking the points. Too many
points. You're on Tennessee. I'm going to be on the Chargers. I think you're right that the Tennessee is sort of a dead stick. The Falcons are, I guess, good. I don't know. I mean, it was last week more about the Falcons being good or the Cowboys being utterly dead?
Yes. I mean,
really, you believe in the Falcons a little bit?
I do.
Okay.
It's paying off in ways that I didn't expect. Meaning, it's not what was predictive. Like, I didn't think that like Kirk Cousins was going to look like Turkey, but there will be an endpoint to this, but it's not now.
Okay. And meanwhile, the Saints fire their coach, and I kind of like the dead cat bounce. You've lost 7 straight. They didn't play very well against Carolina, and it's Carolina, but like, isn't this the week where they get the least respect, and somehow Atlanta's do you ever think Atlanta's going to be a 4-point road favorite against anybody this year?
They didn't. It's the only division in any sport where every team plays every week. They break every rule. Every week, these teams play each other, and we think. But here's the point. Yes, I'm falling into the myth that there's an NFC South team that's better than the other. and I'm giving the points.
You're giving them 4. I'm going to take them. I don't feel like super outraged by it, but I'm going to go with the dead cat bounce.
Yeah.
Is it 4 or is it 5?
I had it at 5. I'm sorry.
Did we have it on the screen as 4 though?
No, it's 4. Well, I'm sorry. What I meant was I had it at 5.
No, you were very clear. You were very clear. I'm sorry. I was a ding dong. I totally get what you mean. All right, we're on opposite sides of that one. All right, I'm very interested in Jets Cardinals.
Yeah, that's a weird game.
First of all, how is it not on Thursday night? I said this in the podcast. Like, how is this not the Thursday night game?
I mean, this reeks of confusing tattoos and I don't know, just like little short vignettes of where it's super confusing, like just like Kyler Murray like lighting an incense, and then you know what I mean. It just sounds like these guys are built for terrible short production moments. But
right.
The real thing is that at some point, when are we gonna we talked about the buyability, or like at what point do you stake a team? The Cardinals, while they're wild, like Kyler seems pretty good. Like he seems like he's doing stuff that to the point where I feel like I want to buy Kyler more than I feel that like anything, whatever just happened with the Jets. I don't really believe that. So
it's funny. I mean, that Thursday night game last week against the Texans was one of your 2 best bets taking the Jets, and I was on the Jets.
Sort of.
And I was on the Jets too. I was on Houston too. So I'm not disagreeing with you, but like you weren't convinced by anything they did. I mean, Joe Mixon ran over them. You can definitely run on the Jets. But like clearly it wasn't enough. The Jets offense actually worked out pretty well against, I think, a better defense than Arizona has. I'm not trying to talk you into taking the Jets here because I'm not taking the Jets either. But like you said, it was interesting when you started talking about this game, you said, when are we going to believe when they show us who they are? And I thought you were going to say the Jets because you could make the argument that they've now come back from the dead a little bit, beating a 6-2 team at home. But I'm not making that argument, but you could.
You could read that, and like they had this celebratory moment, and they closed out strong, meaning there was there's a feeling of momentum. It's just very hard for me to buy momentum on this. I mean, this is like this is a sequel to like an early '80s camp movie. Like it's just not going to be good. It's not going to be good. Like Meatballs 2.
Meatballs 2. The Jets, as of our recording this moved a lot too. This moved very Jetsward. It started out -1 Atlanta, -1 Arizona, and is now -1 Jets. But it sounds like both of us. I feel dumb every time I bet against the Jets. It feels like they actually come up with a good performance. But yeah, I kind of buy James Conner running all over him. I kind of buy Arizona here. I mean, Kyler Murray is best when he doesn't need to throw it down the field. Period. End of story. When they fall behind and he has to throw it down the field, that's when they run into trouble. And I just don't know that happens here.
Right. It's like there's enough. Yes. Like they're going to allow for his playmaking to matter as opposed to having him to chase. I just don't believe the Jets. I think they're done.
All right. We're going to get to the last 3 games in a second, but we have more people in here now, and I would love it so much if we could do one more like spike, which is to say, when I say 3, 2, 1, you hit the like button, which is the little thumbs up. You can find it on your app there. You'll find it. I think Jim's just shuffling to find it right now. So you ready? Here we go. Like spike. Hit the like button. 3, 2, 1. Like. Get it? Oh, I see the likes. Thank you so much for all those likes. I really appreciate that. We hope that makes us more. Yeah, I think we did. All right. So we lost Jim a little bit, and my camera went kooky. Let's see. I think we want this setting. Yeah, Jim got up for some reason, and I'm not sure why. But he'll hopefully be back in a second. We'll talk about the rest of these 3 games, though, shall we? I will do my best to chat about them. It's too bad because the next game we wanted to talk about was Jim's Eagles going up against those Cowboys in Dallas. He has a stuffed bear there. He has a stuffed bear, but you can't see it because he's frozen in a very angry pose. And I think that would have led him to pick the Eagles. I am also going to lay 7, the Eagles over the Cowboys. And we have 2 more games, national TV games. And what I want to do, I'm going to throw it out to the chat. I'm going to ask the chat what they think about Lions-Texans, because that should have been a really good game. And Houston, a few weeks ago, probably is favored in that game. But Houston is losing some luster with all the injuries. There's a possibility that they're getting Nico Collins back, and that would be quite beneficial, obviously. But the offensive line is a disaster. So this line is the Lions on the road -3.5. So in the chat, you tell me, are you willing to give those 3.5 points? Or are you going to I think it's 3.5. Yeah. Okay. I think it's 3.5. Maybe I messed it up. And if I did, the graphic's probably wrong, but I think it is 3.5. So you tell me. I got Lions. I got Max saying, damn it, Philly Bear. I got Lions from Nicholas. Kevin doesn't want to give the points, but he's gonna. Lions fan. I'm skeptical, but Lions. Duran says he's got Cowboys over Eagles, which is fair, but not what I asked. There's Herman. Herman telling us Texans. Charles is going to take Texans, but Leonardo is going to give the points. It feels like that tilted. I mean, Dave, maybe you're doing a calculation there for me, but I think it seems like maybe they're tilting toward the Lions. All right, I will give the points. Lions -3.5. I don't feel super strongly about it. And then Monday Night Football, also here in Los Angeles. Huge weekend of football in a city that doesn't care about football. Here in Los Angeles, the Rams are going to be hosting the Miami Dolphins and Tua Tagovailoa. And once again, I'm going to let Mob rule. The Rams are favored by 1 point over the Miami Dolphins. 1 scant point. You tell me in the chat. You want to give that point and be on the Rams, or you want to take that point gladly and be on the Dolphins? What do you think? What do you think? Oh, we got Jim back.
I'm sorry about that, guys. I'm sorry. I cut out.
Yeah, you got up for some reason. We didn't understand why you were moving.
Oh, it cut out. I apologize. Sorry about that.
Okay. Jim is back, and we will get to the moment that everybody really wants to see in this video in just a second. But right now, Jim, I'm asking the chat who they're taking in Monday Night Football, and I see Rams. I see Jim. I see give the point, says Leonardo. Rams, McVay, Kevin, McDaniel, not a genius. Turbo Duran says, okay, dude, I'm not a psychic, so we don't know what's going to happen. You guys are just playing a game guessing. I'm good. I got Texans over Lions. Okay, man. Yeah. If we knew who was going to win, you probably wouldn't have to watch a show and Vegas wouldn't exist. I see Herman saying Miami. Nicholas says yucky game Rams. Matt says Tua, but I think I saw more Rams, so I think I'm going to have to be on the Rams. So I let the masses, Jim, make my picks on the 2 national television games. Who are you taking? Lions. It's 3.5. If I said it was 5, I was incorrect. It's yes. Lions -3.5 at Houston. Who do you like there?
I'm taking the points. I'm just this sucker for Houston to finally get it together, even when they have they probably don't even have any. It's like they don't have any vowels. It's like Hutton. Like they don't even have any value left, but they're stripped down. But I'll take it.
All right, and then Miami at the Rams. Rams -1.
Matt Stafford just loves giving points. I don't know. I love Matt Stafford in this situation. Yeah.
So you're on the Rams -1.
Yeah.
And then the game you didn't get to talk about, just show us the damn bear.
Oh, yes. Okay, so a bear and a helmet. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I apologize. Yeah, my internet was bad. You know what I mean? Did an open house. Yeah, this is Brian Doggins. You know what I mean?
Very good.
Has yet to win a Super Bowl himself, but he's proudly dominated. He likes long walks. It's a lot of points, you know what I mean? But we're gonna give him.
All right. You're not on every dog. I also am on the Eagles in that one. We're going to ask you all for your best bet. Tell us in the chat. your best bet. Tell us in the comments if you're watching after the fact. Tell us your best bet. Last week, Maddest Mardigan was our person who entered a correct wager in the comments, and now we are shouting you out, like the kids say. Maddest Mardigan, congratulations, picked the Commanders last week. And so tell us your best point spread bet down in the comments. We will shout out someone next week. Jim, what's your two favorites here?
I like the Buffalo Bills, giving them points against Joe Flacco and his similarly gray beard. And I also honestly really like the Eagles just crushing the Dallas Cowboys.
All right. Okay. I'm scared to death, but I'm also Bills. That was one of mine. I was trying to talk you into believing in Joe Flacco, but I don't. So that's fair. I'm on the Bills, and I'm on San Francisco. I think they will blow doors in Tampa. Coming off the bye week. But what do you think? Again, tell us down in the comments. What's your favorite bet of the week? We want to thank DraftKings so much for continuing to sponsor. Thank you very much. If you have never used their app before, you download it, enter the code HarrisTube, all one word. You'll make one $5 bet. You'll get $200 in bonus bets, and you can use them all and spread them out and have some fun this weekend. Nothing makes me more nervous watching a game that I wouldn't care about otherwise than having $10 on it, which is hilarious, but absolutely true. And so thank you so much to DraftKings. I want to thank Dave for once again being an awesome producer. I want to thank Jim for being an awesome co-host. And I want to thank all of you in the chat for being amazing. Thank you so much for attending. We hope we gave you 47 minutes of fun on, a week where some things weren't that fun, but hopefully you had a good time. And thank you all for watching as well. And we'll see you next week.